Hey everybody, hope all is blessed. Welcome back for another episode of Will's Way. Today I'm actually in my office today. I chose to be able to do this video in a different scenario, in a different environment, because today I'll be reviewing a book that changed my life in terms of a lot of things actually, money, wealth and happiness. And I honestly believe that there's three core elements in life that need to be balanced to be able to really understand and get the full potentiality out of real happiness and real purpose on earth here. So them three things are health, wealth and happiness. And what this book has taught me is to be able to really balance all three by using a set of laws, by using a set of rules and laws that are very true in nature to be able to accomplish it. So the book I'm reviewing today is 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. This book is available on YouTube just to listen to, and I honestly strongly suggest everybody here that listens to this video interprets this book for themselves and actually download it. And I'll leave the link below. Just, you can literally do that now. And there's no excuse right now. I'm giving you the book and you've got time. I don't care if anyone says I'm too busy right now. No one's busy right now. And if you are, that's good. But you should be able to prioritize and fit some time in for this book. So I'm going to go through the book. I'm going to go through each law, and as well, I'm going to try to explain how each law I've applied in my life and how you guys can apply it easily. So this is like basic stuff, but it can change your life stuff, you know what I mean? So the first law is called the law of pure potentiality. So this spiritual law is essence of consciousness. The more that we experience our true nature, the more we can tap into that field. So unfortunately, it says here as well, when we're connected to that field of ego that needs approval, power and control, ego-based power only lasts as long as the object or reference of what is here, and self-power is always permanent. So what I mean by that is, say for example, you had a job title which is very high up in the field, and you felt really proud and attached to that job title. When that job title's been taken away, you would feel extremely upset because you would be giving power to that title, not yourself. Whereas if you give power to yourself, and you give power within in terms of your knowledge and wisdom, no one can ever take that away from you because it's something that you generated within rather than external. A bit like a car. Say if you've got a really beautiful car and for whatever reason that gets taken away from you and you're attached to that car or status, you can then feel really bad or feel depressed afterwards when that's been taken away. But when you're happy within, it doesn't matter what car you've got. It doesn't matter what you've got in terms of your surroundings, you've still got that inner happiness. So I hope that was a good example really. How to apply that law. To get in touch with that pure potentiality, it's important to take time each day to be alone and meditate and be at the time where you can really just search within yourself and stop the external thoughts and feelings of the outer world and really look within. And if you can really quiet your mind down to be able to find this place regularly on a daily basis, which you find through meditation, it will start to make a massive profound effect in terms of your general contentness of being here. A lot of the time I think we're quite anxious, we're always really looking for something external to give us some sort of dopamine rush in terms of enjoyment, like picking up your phone, you know what I mean, going through social media, do you know what I mean, or watching a video or something like that on your phone, going out to eat a chocolate bar to just get a bit of a sugar rush, you know what I mean. All of these things can be pleasure orientated and we can always be seeking them, but when we feel content, we don't need any of that. We can just sort of be here and just be happy, and that's a brilliant place to be. Law number 2 is the law of giving. So the more we give, the more we receive. This is how we keep the abundance of the universe circulating. And it's simple really. If you want to give joy, give happiness to others, you'll get that joy and that happiness back to you. So it's like a circle really in terms of what you ever give out in terms of your intention is what will come back to you as well. So you have to look about your circumstances, what you've got around you in the external. Have you got a lot of hate? Have you got a lot of envy? Have you got a lot of things coming to you in circumstances that you don't like? And then start to understand, oh my God, am I giving these things out subconsciously and not knowing? So that awareness is so important really to understand what you're giving. And I guarantee the more you give right now, the more that you'll get back. And it doesn't have to be money. This is another thing I keep telling people, giving doesn't really come with money. If anything, giving love and giving happiness and giving, do you know what I mean, just words of kindness and prayers can be more powerful than giving money anyway. Because a lot of people think money is the end all in life, and it really isn't. Happiness trumps money like every day, but you've got to be able to have wealth as well to become happy in a certain element, to be able to balance all this out in a triangular motion. So each and every single sector does rely on each other as well, but if you've only got one of them, it doesn't matter. It's a bit like the triangle fire theory, you know what I mean? When you take out one of the elements of fire, or the elements that is creating the fire goes out, and it's kind of like happiness in a weird way. If you take out one of them elements, you're going to take out the whole happiness around it. So applying this law is growing a habit to give, growing a habit to give. Like, a lot of us are programmed to take, and it's no one's fault. It's just how we're grown up in this competitive world. You know what I mean? From day one, as a child, remember when a kid took your toy, you got vexed. You're like, give me my toy back. You know what I mean? And like we learn it from a very young age. It's very difficult to teach your children how to be able to give and share. If anyone's got 2 children, they'll know that they'll bicker, they'll fight, and they'll be like, no, mine. So really getting them to teach, how to give is a very hard thing to do. But when you start to teach them this, you'll start to see that when one child starts giving to the other child remembers it and gives back to them. So it's a circle that you need to really try to engage them in. And to be honest, man, like, this law doesn't have to be just purely monetary. Like, even today, try giving out 3 messages of goodwill to people that you haven't spoken to in a long while, and see what happens the next following week. I guarantee at some point some people will start getting back to you, which is crazy really, but it's just the way the world works. It's a law. So the more you give in kind, the more you get back in kind. The more you give in hate, the more you get back in hate. 3, the law of karma. So this is very similar, this law, okay, but it's more in terms of like our decisions and choices in the present moment, and how they come back around to shape the future. So every action generates a force of energy that returns in its like kind. So this is like understanding that every single thought and every single decision carries some sort of energy. So whenever you make a decision, whenever you have this thought in your brain, which generally is the first part of that decision before you act, that energy cycle goes out to the universe and comes back the same type of energy. So if you can imagine your choices, and every single conscious choice you make is coming back to you to shape the next version of events, you'd be very, very conscious about the decisions you're making. And the crazy thing is, like, our choices are so unconscious and so conditioned and so automatic. So there was a study saying that 95% of our behavior all day is automatic behavior. So if you can imagine you've got these automatic programs running in a negative way, you'll understand why you're attracting more negative circumstances, and you'll keep going around in the circle and not really getting out of a rut. So, we have to be careful about these decisions we make in the present moment, really, and start to really start to apply, a different type of thinking right now. So applying this law into effect, we can start by witnessing the choices that we make in every single moment, and thinking about the consequences we're creating for the future right now. Because every time you act, you're creating that version of events that is going to come out in the future. It's a little bit like if you don't complete an assignment, if you don't complete a piece of work that you need to get done in that present moment, and you put it off and you procrastinate, that's creating an event in the future that could potentially really hurt you. Putting something off, for example, now could really affect the contract, or some version of events could happen, so something really negative could come back around to you. So remember, always try to carry out the tasks in the moment that you need to carry out, because I can promise you, if you start procrastinating and start moving off the tasks that you need to do in the present, it's really going to hurt future and down the line, And a lot of the time I feel like we try to overthink situations through in the present moment. Try to feel more. Like, our nature knows the answer all the time, but it's our thinking that always, the ego part of us always ends up messing everything up. You know what I mean? Overreacting, like, you did this to me, you did whatever. But like, really try to think from the heart, think from the gut. And when you start using your feelings to really convey the situation, and you start to become aware of what you're doing in the present moment, just that split second of not reacting will stop you from doing something stupid. How many times have we like let leash in a conversation or argument where we was like, we really regretted that later? Everybody has done this. Everybody on this planet has done this at a point in time. So if you're going to be a little bit more aware of that now, in that present, we can actually get through it. 4, the law of least effort. Like, this is a great law as well, because within engineering, everybody has been taught in physics at some point in time that electricity always moves to the lowest path of resistance. And this applies within our life as well. And it's one of my favorites, because like nature's intelligence like functions with this effortless ease, where grass doesn't try to grow, it doesn't struggle, it just does. Like, trees don't try to sprout, they just do, you know what I mean? Like, nature just unfolds in this way that is just so effortless, and that's what we call the life principle in life. And a lot of the time, we as people are part of this energy. So if we can start to apply the same thoughts and intentions in terms of just going with the flow and letting life unravel, in terms of stop trying to control the outcome all of the time. How many times are we trying to control the outcome? And we're trying to be complete control freaks. Like, who gave us the right to be able to control the laws of nature? The laws of nature are the laws of nature. We can't control anything. We are part of it, if you know what I mean. And it's a real eye-opener for me, because a lot of the time I used to try to force certain events to happen, and I'll get really frustrated when they never did. But now I'm just kind of like letting like the universe do its thing. And like, at the end of the day, I'll get to where I want to be twice as quick from doing that. It's letting go and surrendering to the outcome as well. And how you apply this law is acceptance, really. You've got to accept what is. Like, you've got to accept people and situations for what they really are, you know what I mean? Like, don't struggle against the momentum, because that's the moment we should just be letting the flow guide us where we want to go. A lot of people try to fight. It's like trying to swim up the river. You can't, like, you might see the end goal and it might seem quicker to swim against the current to get to the end goal, but the reality is, if you just let the river take you on the longer direction, it would flow back round to the end goal on a path that you couldn't see initially, but take you there 4 times as quickly. So always put trust in that element inside of yourself that you're on the right path. And as long as you're taking action and you're doing all the right processes every day, and you're not overdoing it, you're not forcing it, like, let the universe take control. And as soon as you start letting go, things will start to tenfold for you guys, I promise you. And this is a law in my life that has completely, utterly changed everything. Like, when I first started my engineering business, I always used to try to force myself to get customers to come in and try to force it. But then when I started to let go a little bit and started to let the universe attract these things, I used to get jobs that pop out the blue that just came to me. And that was a beautiful feeling, really, honestly. And when you'll know when it starts working, because things will start to come to you effortlessly. And that's what the law is. You're a part of this law, so be it. 5, the law of intention and desire. So we've got 2 qualities that inherit our consciousness, yeah, which is our attention and our intention. So attention energizes, intention transforms things. Whatever we put our attention on, it will grow stronger in our life. And this is the thing as well, when you put your attention on lack, limitation, no money, no this, no whatever, it will start to manifest and start to produce more of it. Like, when we start putting our attention on love, gratitude, like being grateful, it starts to elicit the feelings of like having it already. Like, when we're grateful, it's a beautiful thing, because what we're saying, and in terms of our intention, is thank you for what I've got. Thank you. That feeling of saying thanks will bring more things to feel that way again into our lives, you know. Desire alone is really weak, because desire alone in most people's lives is real attachment to items and things, you know what I mean? Like, intention combined with detachment, however, will bring real, like, effective results. So remember, attention energizes. When we put our attention onto something, we're actually putting our energy into it, we're placing our attention on that. So we need to really have the intention of feeling these things, but don't become too attached to the outcome, you know, because when you're attached, you're focusing on that, oh, I need it, I want it, I need is still scarcity, you know what I mean? Like, when you're abundant, you've got everything, you don't need to feel that emotion at all. So applying this law, you know, suggest making a list of desires and keeping it with us. And desires could be like goals as well. I've done a video on goal setting as well, go check that out. We should really read it like every day. So like, I've got these sets of goals that I read out every single morning before I even do anything. And I've got this journal as well that really break down these major goals into smaller goals and different actions. And when we start placing our attention onto these things, we actually automatically training our subconscious brain to be able to carry these processes out. And the more we carry them out, the more closer we become to the dreams. The more we focus our attention on these dreams, the more things manifest in our life quickly to be able to complete these dreams. It's like a complete picture, really, you know what I mean? Practice this, you know, guys, really try to practice it and really write down the things you want and keep them with you and read them often. And when you start doing that, things will start to change really, really quickly for you. The law of detachment is number 6. So if you want to acquire anything in this physical realm, we have to relinquish our attachment to it. But this doesn't mean we give up on the intention to create the desire. We simply give up on our attachment to the result. So remember, stop overthinking the how. Let the universe do that, yeah? Think on your intention of I already have it, yeah? Stop thinking on how. Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Let the universe take care of that element, you know what I mean? You know, to be able to really apply it, we need to allow ourselves and those around us to be as they are. We shouldn't really try to change people. Like, how many people you've tried to change over the years and they never change? They never do. Like, you might have the best information for the people. You might have this best information and advice for your friend, that if you listen to this advice, his life would change. But remember, he can't listen to your advice and change his own life, and he's not going to listen. He needs to learn from his own experience from it. So remember, sometimes being a good friend is just letting be and just letting people experience stuff. Obviously, don't ever let someone you know, you've got to give advice where it is, but you can't force that advice, man. You can't change no one. They've got to learn by experiencing it and coming to the awareness themselves, you know, as well. Accepting uncertainty is like a path to freedom. Accepting everything is very random. We don't really know what's around the corner, and accepting that is a beautiful way of surrendering to the universe to say, whatever happens, I'll be okay with it, and I'll take every day as it comes. And that really starts to bolster our mental health in terms of being, because a lot of the time, because the world can be quite random, it can cause an element of uncertainty, and that can cause a lot of anxiety. But when we start to become aware, it's beautiful. It can be beautiful as well in terms of how random events can, how some people can just appear in your life at the right time. It shouldn't really cause anxiety, because anxiety is a very close emotion to excitement as well. Do you know what I mean? It can be flipped. But I find it really exciting that some days in the future, I have no idea what's going to happen, and something completely random could come into your life for the better as well. So remember that, and really try to embody and embrace the randomness of how life really is, you know what I mean? And be excited for it, because the more excitement you feel, the more things you're going to be able to be excited for in the future as well. So we're on to the last law, which is the law of Dharma. And this is a real important law. This law is basically having every single person here on this planet has a purpose and has something to do here. And I thoroughly believe in this. And I honestly feel when people start to fall away from what their purpose is, that's when they start to feel unhappy. And the unhappiness in their life is more of a signal to say, look, you're not on the right path here. But the problem is people's awareness has never tapped into that reality. A lot of people will struggle, and they'll try to find external things in their life to be more happy for. Obviously everybody's on this planet to improve and do better, but I feel like a lot of the time we're taught for this pursuit of happiness in terms of getting more money, getting more things. You know, you're not aligning with your purpose. There'll be this void inside of you that will never really be fulfilled, and it may, you know, take you years upon years of just getting more and more and more without this fulfillment to be able to understand that, you know what I mean? I feel that honestly the people that are really carrying their purpose out on this planet, and that could be being an artist in terms of painting, it could be, you know, a YouTuber giving people joy and encouragement through the videos they do. It could be a musician and an artist that creates this beautiful music that helps so many people get through their day. I honestly feel, you know, once you know what your purpose is, you know, because you'll attach this beautiful passion with it, and you'll just feel like it is incredible, and you'll just feel so alive when you do it, you know what I mean? And a lot of people have found their passion, you know what I mean? And which is brilliant, which is beautiful as well. But as well, I find if you've not found your passion yet, start to search, start to experiment, start to go out and just try a few things that you wouldn't try, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people get sort of locked into their job and don't really pay attention to what they want in life as well, and I think that's really sad, you know what I mean? So yeah, the law of Dharma is really discovering our true spiritual self in terms of our purpose and our code and our actual purpose of being here in terms of fulfilling our full life spiritual potential out in terms of being on this planet, you know what I mean? How to apply the law. We should ask ourselves daily, how can I serve the world today? How can I provide more value to the world today? How can I provide more happiness today? Do you know what I mean? And really ask yourself. And you can start to attract your purpose as well. You'll attract it. If you can start to really like apply the intention in terms of asking, what am I here to do? Really search for it. Go into meditation. Really try to feel it. And what you'll do will start to find events and circumstances come into your life. Like you'll start to see like something on social media, for example, an ad pop up like for art class or music class, for example. You'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. And it'll be weird because a lot of the time we're attracting these things, but we're unaware. We're just like oblivious, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of these things are messages to us, and we've got to try to see it for what it is sometimes, because I know it can seem far-fetched, but remember, a lot of the time, like we've got this spiritual thing that's trying to find us, but we just got to be able to let that in as well. So as well, always try to serve each other in the smallest deeds as well, and that can be a real purpose in itself in terms of trying to help everybody out as much as we possibly can. I'm not saying become a charity and give up your job and start helping every single homeless person you can and give away all your money. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is like our actions on a daily basis, even giving someone a smile, you know what I mean, it can change someone's day. You know what I'm saying? We've got a lot of hate inside of us as a human race sometimes, and we've got to really channel that out, because like it's not a true nature. A true nature is love, man. A true nature is really trying to help each other. So if we can start to just to do the small things every single day, I promise you, they will start to make a compound effect in your life and other people's life. And that's how we evolve on this planet, man. That's how we all come together and get better and improve, you know what I'm saying? So guys, this book thoroughly changed my life. I've actually written down goals and targets around every single spiritual law. And Deepak Chopra is like one of my mentors now. I honestly studied this guy in terms of what he says, and it's incredible really. It's incredible really when you start to break these things down and you start to understand how the world works. And like these are laws, you know, these are things that fully embody the world. These are things that like create this element to be able to run how it does, you know what I mean? And honestly guys, the reason why I covered this one book is because it's so powerful, it's so short. I think the audiobook's only about 3 hours, 2 hours, so you can listen to it on an afternoon. And honestly, once you've listened to it, you'll start to really make you think about the way that you're living, and you know, the little things you can change. Because generally, like, we don't have to make big changes in our life, we just need to be able to take small little pivots, and that small pivot will change the direction of where we go, you know what I mean? So these small little things that we can incorporate can honestly change our lives for the better. So guys, yeah, really try to adopt the laws, listen to the book, and I honestly, like, if you listen to it, drop me a comment, you know what I mean? And guys, honestly, please subscribe to the channel, please leave a comment if you like this content, and if it helped you in any sort of way, I love to hear your success stories. On Instagram, hit me up at willstar22 on Twitter and Instagram if you want to have a chat. Even drop a DM about these things, and I'll have a full-on conversation with you guys. I'm all love, man. I'm about that. I'm about to give. The more you give, the more you get back. You remember that, you know what I mean? So guys, it's been a blessing to be able to chat to you today about this book. And please, we're in lockdown right now, so there's no excuse to be able to go read this. Honestly, if you apply small little things in your life like this, it will change your life massively. So people, love, keep it blessed. Peace out.
You can never stop my wave. You can never stop my wave, no. Every single day I pray. Every single day I pray.